السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن يكن خيرا منهن ولا تلمزوا أنفسكم ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان ومن لم يتب فأولئك هم الظالمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and most merciful. Believers are nothing else than brothers, so make reconciliation between the brothers. Fear Allah, that you may receive mercy. O you who believe, let not a group scoff another group. It may be that the latter are better than the former. Nor let women scoff other women. It may be that the latter is better than the former. Nor defame one another, nor insult one another with nicknames. How bad is it to insult one's brother after having faith? And whosoever does not repent, then such are indeed the wrongdoers. O you who believe, avoid much suspicion. Indeed, some suspicion are sins. And spy not, neither backbite one another. Would you like to eat the dead flesh of his dead brother? You would hate it, and fear Allah. Verily Allah is one who accepts repentance, the most merciful. O mankind, we have created you from male and female, and made you into nations and tribes, that you may know one another. Verily, the most honorable of you in the sight of Allah is that who has taqwa, and love Allah much. Verily, Allah is all-knowing, all-aware. Jazakallah.
عن نعمان بن بشير رضي الله عنهما قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم مثل الجسد إذا اشتكى منه عضو تداعى له سائر الجسد بالسحر والهمة. Nu'man ibn Bashir reported, the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, said, the parable of believers in their affection, mercy, and compassion for each other is that of a body. When any limb of it aches, the whole body reacts with sleeplessness and fever. Sahih Muslim.
Thank you for the Quranic citation, inshallah. I will first talk a little bit about today's program. First of all, I would like to welcome our honored guest, Dr. Bilal Philips, for joining us today. On behalf of the KMRA board, I would like to welcome you all to the event today. The primary objective of today's event is to get together in a social setting for all of us, to get to know each other better, and to strengthen our brotherhood and sisterhood in Islam. The event is financially supported by individuals' donations who wanted to have events like this organized, and they made a donation for this event. In terms of volunteers, all the work is done by our youth, by our sisters and brothers, volunteers. So I'd like to thank them for their effort for this organization today. The KMRA board has been trying to find out all the issues that we need to address as a community and as an organization, also as a masjid. And we have been doing some formal and informal investigation on what are the focuses that this board should put on for the next 2 years while we are in the board. A lot of things have come up. It includes organizing more events like this ones. It includes issues related to youth, to our youth. It includes to addressing concerns for our sisters. It includes, more importantly, about the schools for our children, the Islamic school program. Regarding this, we have decided one way to do this is to actually ask you what we need and what you think we need to do as a board. We have prepared sort of a minor survey that will hand out later on in the program. We ask you to fill those surveys and let us know what you think is the most important issues that we need to address as a community. As far as the school is concerned, from our conversation with community members, we find out that the school is a primary issue for all of us. And Alhamdulillah, our Imam Shazam has worked very hard for this school, and our children have been learning and progressing well, but we would like to strengthen it further. And there is a plan with Brother Shazam's effort that we would like to strengthen the curriculum. So we'll organize a curriculum night where we'll invite you, all parents, to come and participate and let us know if you like the curriculum that will be proposed for the new year in January. We'll make the announcement for the dates of the parents' night at that time, and we hope you can all join us, because without your input, there's nothing we can do as a community. All the success of our effort, like this one or anything we will do in the community, is completely dependent on your participation. Participation means attending. We have halaqah every Friday, and we want as many of you as to attend. When we have programs of this sort, we'd like you to bring your family, and also, of course, to support the community financially as well, the masjid financially. It's without the community support, the community cannot continue. So it's for the sake of the children's future, our children's future, for the sake of our community going forward, I'm asking you to start working together for this community to make it a vibrant community in the future, inshallah. I now want to introduce our honored guest, Dr. Bilal Philips. Dr. Abu Amina Bilal Philips is a Jamaican-Canadian Islamic scholar who converted to Islam in the early 1970s after a political and intellectual journey from Christianity and to communism. Dr. Bilal has a Bachelor of Arts in Islamic Studies from Medina and an MA in Islamic Theology from Riyadh and a PhD from the University of Wales in the UK. Dr. Bilal was a lecturer at the American University of Dubai, where I met him the first time actually. I don't know, maybe probably doesn't remember. For 10 years he was working there. A founder and head of the Islamic Studies Department of Preston University in Ajman, the UAE. The founder and head of the Islamic Studies Academy in Qatar, and the founder and director of Al-Fajr International School in Chennai, India. Dr. Bilal's work on various Islamic topics have been published on over 50 books. I'm sure there's no one in this room that hasn't seen his work on YouTube or in some social media. He has been a very active brother, mashallah. He has also published and edited Iman reading series for children. He has presented Islamic programs for many years and many countries and many TV and radio channels in the Middle East, in the UK, and the US. Currently, Dr. Bilal is the founder and head of the College of Dawah in Umdurman. He is Umdurman Islamic University and the founder and dean of the online university with over 3,000 registered students over 177 different countries. And hopefully he will tell us about his online program today, inshallah. Therefore, it is truly a great pleasure and a great honor for me and for our community to have him accept our invitation and join us today on our event. It makes our event very special. Without further ado, I present to you Dr. Bilal Philips. He will be speaking on brotherhood and unity in Islam, inshallah.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه من استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. All praise is due to Allah and Allah's peace and blessings on the last Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and then all those who follow the path of righteousness until the last day. The topic of my presentation is unity of community. And this topic was chosen for me because it addresses particular issues that the community here is facing. So, and of course, this is really what talks should be directed in ways that we can address the issues that we're actually facing as opposed to general talks. So the issue of unity of community, of course, is enshrined in the Quran, wherein Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Ali Imran, verse 103 stated, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا, where Allah tells us there, hold on fast, all of you together, to the rope of Allah, and do not become divided amongst yourselves. That's the foundational command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we hold on firmly to the rope of Allah, and what is understood from the rope of Allah is the Quran itself. Allah also told us in Surah Al-Anbiya, verse 92, إن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة وأنا ربكم فاعبدون. Indeed, this nation, this ummah, your ummah, is one ummah, and I am your Lord, so worship me. So worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is connected to our unity. And truly, the various aspects of Islam involves the working of the community together as a unity. Why Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that prayer in congregation as a unity would be worth 25 to 27 times prayer by ourselves, in order to promote the idea of the community coming together. Obviously, this is not from himself, this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah increases the value of our prayers when we pray together. It's together whether we're in our homes, If the time for prayer comes, it should be the standard practice in the home that father, mother, and the children all pray together. Very important. Just recently, I was asked to speak to one daughter of one of the people who I knew, who had begun to question and to challenge the Islamic teaching. She wanted to take off her hijab. She's already in university. She had been wearing hijab from the time that she was 11 years old. She chose to wear hijab when she was 11 years old. But by first year university, she turned to her mother and told her mother, I don't feel comfortable wearing hijab anymore. I want to take it off. So the mother was shocked. Mother is a practicing, devout Muslim, and she couldn't understand where this came from. So I spoke to this young lady, and I convinced her intellectually that she should continue to wear the hijab, but she was saying, I don't feel comfortable in it. And so I said to her, well, if the doctor told you that you had to wear a bandage on your head, would you wear it even though you don't feel comfortable? She said, yeah. I said, well, if Allah tells you to wear it, then surely you can do it, even though you don't feel comfortable. So feeling comfortable is not the criterion as to whether you wear a hijab or not. It's about Allah has commanded it, and Allah knows what is best for human beings, and that's why He prescribed it. Just as the doctor tells you to wear a bandage, you're going to wear it because you believe that He is instructing you to do that because it's in your own interest. It's better for you. But after talking to her further, I realized that there was something even deeper, something which was a greater problem. And in talking to her, it came out that she had abandoned prayer for like the last 3 or 4 years. She wasn't praying anymore. And this is a big question. How could that be? You're in a home of people who pray. How is that? Well, the mom said, I wake her up for Fajr in the morning, and then I go about, everybody in the house, they just pray individually. So she was waking her up, and she would just go back to sleep. The mother assumes that she got up, made wudu and prayed, and she wasn't. So years went by, 3-4 years went by, she was not making salah at all. And the mother didn't even know it. I told her, the big mistake here was salah was not established in the home. We assume, we told the young ones pray, and we've gone about, done our own thing, prayed when we were ready and so. Without that jama'ah, again, it is quite easy for people to get lost along the way. We're living very busy lives. So many things that keep us occupied. We don't have time to keep track of each and every person. But these are basic foundations which are important for establishing the faith. So Allah prescribed salah in jama'ah. You pray it alone only when you can't. When you're unable to make the jama'ah, you're on your own, you have no opportunity, you're in your workplace, whatever, you're the only one who's Muslim, the time for prayer comes, you pray. But otherwise, as long as it is possible, humanly possible, then we should be praying in jama'ah. And as the young brother from the community quoted the hadith in Sahih Muslim, where the Prophet ﷺ had said that the believers are like one person, one body, that whenever any part of that body gets sick or ill, the rest of the body is worried, is concerned, stays up at night trying to fix it. So that concept of community is fundamentally there, re-established many times in the statements of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, like his famous statement in which he said, Yadullah ala al-jama'ah, that Allah's hand is on the jama'ah. Allah's hand is over, his support, his success is on the jama'ah, the community that stays together. You know, as they say, the community that prays together, stays together. On the other hand, we can find in the Quran a number of verses where Allah warns about the opposite. Though people commonly say, there's a saying that I heard when I came into Islam back in the 70s, اختلاف أمتي رحمة. The differences amongst my nation is a mercy. Like it's okay. It's not a bad thing to have differences. People do things different ways, you know. It's a good thing. It's a mercy from Allah. But if you read the verses of the Quran, they say the complete opposite. They don't say this. What you find is Allah saying, for example, وَلَا تَكُونُوا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. Don't be among the idol worshippers. مِنَ الَّذِينَ فَرَّقُوا دِينَهُمْ وَكَانُوا شِيَعًا. Among those who split up their religion and became sects. كُلُّ حِزْبٍ بِمَا لَدَيْهِمْ فَرِحُونَ. Each group, each sect, happy with what they have. Allah compares those who split up as being like mushrikun, idol worshippers. That is the characteristic of the idol worshippers. They split up. They are themselves split up and they try to split others up. Divide and conquer. The Muslim world is a product, the current Muslim world is a product of that same mentality. Split them up. Europe was one in the time of the Holy Roman Empire, but it split up into different countries and groups, and that's their way. And they use it on other parts of the world in order to control them, to access their resources, all kinds of things. Control also even the religion and its practice. So Allah curses that state. He further goes on to say, وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا فَتَفْشَلُوا وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ. Do not fall into dispute and lose courage and strength, for it would depart from you. At-tanazur, this being at each other's throats, breaking the community for one reason or another, developing opposition. What does it do? Allah describes it here. وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ. Your strength, your power will go. So this is not a good state. This is an evil state. And actually that hadith, which I mentioned that I heard when I first came into Islam, and people quote it from time to time, اختلاف أمتي رحمة, actually it's fabricated. It's not even a hadith. It's not allowed Islamically to say Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, said this is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. It's not. It has no chain of narration, and it can be found in no book of hadith. It is a complete fabrication. But we hear it repeated. It's wrong. Now, having known that establishing the jama'ah, the unity, the community, is in fact essential, then we have to decide on what basis do we establish that unity. Does it just come out of the sky? It descends amongst us. One person can create it. We have Imam. The Imam, okay, that's your job, make the unity. Or does the unity have its own conditions by which we as a community create that unity? Well, if we listen to the Quran, Surah An-Nisa, verse 59, we find there Allah says, فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَالرَّسُولِ إِن كُنتُمْ تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. If you dispute about anything, because to create the unity, you have to be able to resolve the differences between us. So there are disputes that exist. So how do we resolve it to create that unity? Allah tells us here, if you dispute about anything, take it back to Allah and the Messenger. Taking it back to Allah and the Messenger, obviously, we don't have communication with Allah. And the Prophet ﷺ died 1,400 years ago. So what is this referring to? Allah is the Quran. The Messenger is the Sunnah. Take it back to the Quran and the Sunnah. This is what Allah is telling us. If we have differences amongst ourselves, that's how we resolve it. So this is the primary condition, the necessary prerequisite for establishing that unity. That we are on the same page. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ warned us. He said that my ummah will be divided into 73 sects. All of them will be in the fire except for one. So there is one path. There is one path which we are all supposed to be on. That one path, when he was asked about it, what is it? He said, مَا أَنَا عَلَيْهِ الْيَوْمُ وَأَصْحَابِي. What I am following today and my companions. What I and my companions are following today. Today when? Today when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the verse, الْيَوْمَ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينَكُمْ. Today I have completed for you your religion. That is the basis of the unity. It has to be the basis of the unity of the community. Because disagreements are inevitable. No matter what we do, there will always be disputes. We have different opinions. We have different points of view. The Sahaba differed. The scholars that came after them, the Tabi'een, the Tabi'een, Imam Malik, Imam Abu Hanifa, they differed. But they resolved it through the Quran and the Sunnah. And that's why Abu Hanifa is quoted as saying, إِذَا صَحَّ الْحَدِيث فَهُوَ مَذْهَبِي. If the hadith is authentic, then that is my true madhab. If I had a madhab, I took a position, and you find a hadith sahih which goes against my position, take my position, dump it, and take that hadith sahih. Imam Shafi'i said the same thing. Imam Malik said something of that same meaning, and so did Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. This was their way. The focus was on the Quran and the Sunnah. And that is why Prophet Muhammad had said, تَرَكْتُ فِيكُمْ أَمْرَيْنِ إِن تَمَسَّكْتُمْ بِهِمَا لَن تَضِلُّوا أَبَدًا. I've left with you two things. If you hold on firmly to them, you will never go astray. You will remain on that path. You will remain united. Kitabullah wa Sunnati. The Book of Allah and my Sunnah. So all of this is pointing us towards the foundations of that unity. Having understood that, then we have to deal with the opposition. What is the opposition to this unity? What stops us from establishing a unified community and keeping that community unified? There are a variety of different satanic elements that attack this unity. unity, that work against the unity, that corrode the unity from within. Among them, nationalism. Nationalism. We look at the community here in Peterborough, okay, you're small. You only have one masjid. That's right. One masjid. So you don't have any choice where else to go. But if you go to Toronto, GTA, there are many masjids. But what do you find? One masjid is known as the Pakistani masjid. Another one is known as the Egyptian masjid, the Bosnian masjid, the Bengali masjid, the Somali masjid. What is this? This is unheard of in the history of Islam. Unheard of. No masjid in the history of Islam has been known as a Somali masjid. If you're in Somalia, well, yes, the masjids are Somali masjids. Everybody pray there are Somalis. Because that's, what else do you expect? If you're in Egypt, everybody who prays in the masjids in Egypt are Egyptians. So it's honest, okay, they're Egyptian masjids. But the idea that we would have a community spread over the city and have hundreds of masjids, and a brother and his family will get in their car and drive by the Bengali masjid, then by the Pakistani masjid, then by the Somali masjid, then by the Croatian masjid, until he reaches the what other masjid is that? Palestinian masjid? Do they have one? He's gonna go just to that one. That is abhorrent. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you drive past all these masjids just to go and pray that? What about all these other masjids? This is nationalism. And this is an evil. It's not a good thing. Because, oh, well, you know, there are people, we speak the same language, we came from the same village, etc. I feel more comfortable with that. Okay, fine. If you're back home in the village, fine. But you're not there anymore. It's like on Hajj. When you go on Hajj and they're going to make jama'ahs or whatever prayers, you go and look for people who are from your... You just pray wherever you find them. The jama'ah is going on, you go and join that jama'ah and you pray. And that's how it should be. But this nationalism, which Prophet ﷺ had said, Man da'a ila al-asabiyya falaysa minna. Whoever calls to nationalism, to tribalism, is not of us. It is not from Islam. It has no place. It is a reality. Allah divided us into nations and tribes. Yes, that's real because of people living in different parts of the world. But that was for what purpose? That we form small groups, closed groups, where we only talk to those people of the same group. When we come to the masjid, we line up and pray together in one jama'ah, but as soon as the prayer is over, you know, we go into little circles in the masjid with the people who speak the same way or look the same way we do. No. This is not from Islam. This is not from Islam. And we have, as an opposition to unity, power politics. Power politics driven by Riyah. Some people just want to be the president. I'm not talking about the current president. Some people, they just feel, I should be the president. Why him? I'm better than him. I know more than him. I have more money than him. I have something. I'm the one who should be the president. So he doesn't feel comfortable. He cannot rest until he undermines the president, topples him, and he takes over. This is power politics, driven by Riyah. Because his whole goal is not to run the community better. His goal is to be the president. So people can say, that's the president. Here comes the president. This is a big evil. A big evil which splits communities time and time again. Power politics. And pride. Pride is part of this formula. And pride, Prophet Muhammad, after saying on one occasion, whoever has in his heart a mustard seed's worth of pride will never enter paradise. So the companions asked, because they knew that they do feel proud about some things. So they said, a person likes to wear nice clothes, they feel proud, feel good. Or they might like nice shoes, and they feel good about them. Prophet ﷺ said, no, that's not the pride we're talking about. Pride is what involves rejecting the truth and looking down on other people. Your pride, where the truth comes and you don't want to accept that truth. You feel you're superior, you feel you have said what you had to say and it is what should be followed by everybody. The truth comes to you, you don't want to see it. You put it down. And you look down at other people. You look at them as being inferior. You call this pride. This is the essence of the evil pride. So, unless the Muslim community is vigilant to oppose nationalistic tendencies, tribalistic tendencies, elements of racism, power politics, pride, even madhab fanaticism. Some people feel, well, most of us here are Hanafis, so we should run this community according to the Hanafi madhab. Please, brother, we don't have to do that. We can look at what is correct according to Quran and Sunnah, and we can go with what is correct. It doesn't have to be according to the Hanafi madhab unless the Hanafi madhab is correct on that issue. That's the bottom line. That's how we should approach it. Reality is, Abu Hanifa wasn't a Hanafi. Oh, he said, what? Abu Hanifa wasn't a Hanafi? Of course he was. No, he wasn't. Abu Hanifa was not a Hanafi. What we know as a Hanafi today, maybe more than 50% of the positions he will hold is in complete opposition to Abu Hanifa. That's reality. Because Abu Hanifa taught, his students accepted some of what he said, they went against some of what he said. They changed rulings. Their students also made other changes, etc. So what we have today in our hands, and we call it the Hanafi madhab, it was not the madhab of Abu Hanifa. Same thing, Shafi'i. Imam Shafi'i wasn't a Shafi'i. He studied under Imam Malik for 20 years. Plus. He didn't start teaching until after Imam Malik died. But people don't call Imam Shafi'i a Maliki. Why not? Because he wasn't following Imam Malik blindly in anything that he said. He took rulings from Imam Malik, he took rulings from other sources. And he taught. So he wasn't a Shafi'i. And so on and so forth. So it is not about madhab, it's about right and wrong. Right and wrong. So we shouldn't allow madhab fanaticism to destroy our unity. We're still suffering from it today. You know madhab fanaticism in the past, what it did? It became such an evil that we had 4 different salahs going on around the Kaaba for every salah. When the time for Salatul Fajr came, they made adhan, and then after the adhan, they have a place which was called Maqam Hanafi. We know Maqam Ibrahim, everybody knows Maqam Ibrahim. In the Kaaba, around the Kaaba, Maqam Ibrahim. The stone on which Ibrahim alayhi salam stood when he was building the Kaaba. But who knows about Maqam Hanafi? We don't know about it now, but you go back to 1925 and before 1925, and there was a structure around the Kaaba. You see it in the old pictures, and you would see the label on it, Maqam Hanafi. What was that? It was like an arch. What would happen is that after the adhan was given, enough time was left for people to make sunnah, then the Imam, Hanafi Imam, would stand under that arch. And all of the Hanafis that were in the masjid who were making tawaf, they would come and they line up behind him. They would make iqamah, and he would pray, the Hanafis. When he was finished, then another Imam would get up and stand under another structure called Maqam Shafi'i. They would make iqamah, and all of the Shafi'is who were making tawaf, making their umrah, would line up behind him and pray. And then Maliki, and then Hanbali. 4 different salahs for every salah. Was that good? Was that rahmah? That was evil. And for hundreds of years, like 400 plus years, according to the Hanafi madhab, it was not permissible for a Hanafi to marry a Shafi'i. Was that good? No, it wasn't good. That is splitting the ummah. That is when people became fanatical. The madhabs were all supposed to be helping people to follow which madhab? The madhab of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which was the madhab which Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, wa Ali, that's the one they were trying to follow. It was the madhab of Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi'i, Ahmad ibn Hanbal. All of them were following the madhab of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we have to put those things aside, those things which split our ranks, and come together on the basis of the Quran and the Sunnah. And in practical terms, of course, from an administrative perspective, we have to have transparency of administration. We have an organization which looks after the community, the masjid, the main association of the community. It should be transparent. It shouldn't be something where people are gathering behind closed doors and planning and doing things and so on. No. Nobody knows about it. Only that special group. No. It should be transparent. We have a meeting, we deal with issues, we raise money. All of this is known. Everybody in the community has access to it. Nothing hidden. So nobody can then say, oh, they're planning this. Oh, he's putting the money in his pocket. Hey, he just got a new car. He just became president and he just bought a BMW. People are connecting things. You didn't know he also got a raise in his job. He got more money, and that's where he bought it from. But you just see he got president, BMW. So these things, we clear these things away when we have transparency. Also, we make sure that the people who are in the positions of authority running the community are people who are qualified. Not the person who has been here the longest, he's the oldest, he has the most money, he spends, the most on the masjid, so we make him president. No. If he doesn't have the qualities of leadership, of management, etc., then we don't put him in that position. This is one of the problems that kills communities and leads to breakup, because they put the wrong people in the wrong places. And amongst the problems is what we have, that well-known problem which the West attacks all the time. It's called nepotism. Nepotism, where you are the president, the secretary is your cousin, the treasurer is your uncle, so on and so forth. In charge of this committee, that's your nephew. This one, so the whole organization is your family. That's called nepotism. It doesn't work. Yeah, we have countries in Muslim world that work like that, but they're not good. They're problems. People know it's not really right. So we try to avoid those kind of obstacles to come to that original command of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam of being one ummah, being together as one ummah, being concerned about each other, working together, and with that comes success. Anyone who splits away, the Prophet ﷺ said, is like a stray sheep. He will be, or she will be devoured by the wolves. So we have to keep that community together, to protect all of the people. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold on firmly to the Book of Allah, to the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and do not split up. This is the basis for our success. Inshallah, I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes this the goal, the understanding that the community shares, so that the community here in Peterborough would be one solid community and would be opposed to those elements that would divide it, split it up, to form different communities, based on different ethnicities, different nationalities, different tribes, clans, whatever. May Allah give you success to stay as one ummah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum again. I want to thank Dr. Bilal Philips for his insightful and very interesting speech today, and for him for answering all the questions that were raised. I would like to thank for all those people who helped organize this event, both financially and also volunteering. It's a lot of work to organize what is done here. We have had some of the youth, both girls and boys, working all day yesterday, and they have come in this morning. Since 9 o'clock they have been organizing and working, and I would like to thank them for their effort. Finally, I want to thank our Imam Shazim, for his continued dedication and for his work for our community. We believe that with open communication as described today, with transparency through the board and transparency through the community, we can work together to build a very strong and vibrant community, inshallah.